Hello everybody, welcome to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by the power metal band Sabaton with Legends. Speaking of Legends, Sabaton is probably viewed as one of the biggest power metal bands going. They have had such a huge following, and this is a band that even got a #1 hit song in their home country, but they've actually managed to have numerous well-performing albums across worldwide as well. So Sabaton, yeah, I didn't actually know when their new album was coming out because they've been releasing EPs, and eventually there was an album, which I don't think it was a proper album release. So here we are with Legends, and I must say, unfortunately, I don't think Legends is really bringing anything new from Sabaton to the table whatsoever. The writing is pretty much the equivalent of what you could have from previous Sabaton albums, and the gimmick between this band is they always write songs about pretty much throughout the war. So when you get that, you just imagine kind of you can have songs from up to like World War II, like it pretty much is any war, but it days back through history as well. One of the interesting things about Sabaton is they do use real he pretty much use real references to war, so it's like actually something that's happened. They'll write a song on it, and I like the idea of it. I think a band going into history and making music is a great idea, especially if you're not really much a history buff, but you like Sabaton. It's a good way to kind of get a bit more understanding on history, but I just don't think Sabaton are really writing the best quality stuff now as they were then. The production is one of the things that also draws us back. When you're not getting kind of the more basic standard Sabaton sound that doesn't reinvent the wheel, doesn't really push any boundaries, it just kind of sticks into its own little safe space and sits there just waiting for fans to pick it up, and it's pretty disappointing as there's just not really anything that feels consistent here. There's some decent tunes, I suppose, on the second half, with lightning at the gates, and I thought the cycle of songs was decent, but I'm not really getting much of a experience I personally wanted from Sabaton on this. And I will say this, I know Sabaton's a band that's quite easy to just join on the bandwagon and hate, and I don't agree with it. Honestly, Sabaton does have some good shit. I've honestly enjoyed The Last Stand album, is one of my favourites from Sabaton, but yeah, this basically pales in comparison to it, in my opinion. I don't really find the songs to quite have as much memorable ideas or writing, and it kind of gives me the impression that it's a bit more of a generic take on Sabaton. Kind of feels like, I don't really like using this claim, but it could feel like something AI could just generate and make a example of. Obviously, you can clearly tell there's human touch into this, and the writing as well, so that's the good part of it. It's not, but it just doesn't really have much of Sabaton's best ideas, and compared to what they've done before, it just kind of feels a little bit soulless and a bit more just kind of blah, because they are pretty much doing the same thing they've done for the last 8 years, but it just kind of doesn't really bring in anything memorable, and with the mixing, productions, instrumentation, it doesn't really give you much of a enjoyable experience either. It's honestly kind of disappointing. I wanted to get into this one badly, and after the first listen, I wanted to give it another listen to see if it would sell, but I just don't feel it whatsoever. There's not one song I could really go back into. Even the best stuff, like I mentioned on the second half, isn't really something I go on my way to listen to be honest. And being on the second half, where I think the second half actually has the stronger songs, I don't think that even warrants me to really want to go back into this album from Sabaton. It's disappointing, to say the least, but yeah, maybe next album it could get better, but I don't really see Sabaton changing the formula, and I kind of just feel like I don't really have many reasons to really be a fan of modern Sabaton. It just kind of exists. It's pretty much the equivalent of, it could be like one of those frozen pizzas that you didn't cook right. It's okay, but would you really want that? You can have a much nicer pizza at the end of the day, rather than it just being you want a bad pizza still a pizza you'd eat, in other words. But no, this isn't enjoyable album, unfortunately. I'm going to have to give it a 2 out of 5. I can't see myself really enjoying this direction whatsoever. Hopefully it does change, but as of where we are, I'm not feeling it. So I hope you'll enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.